Today in this video, I'm going to be telling you 10 things that I learned in this book by Jordan Belfort, The Way of the Wolf, that you can use to persuade people and influence others in your life to become successful and accomplish your goals. For example, right? I'm a high school football player. I don't own a business. I don't sell things to people, but what I did need to sell is myself to college football coaches to get recruited and get a scholarship to keep moving forward in my path to play in the NFL. So, rule number one. Now, this isn't something directly found in the book, but it's something I took away from the book. And looking at, the life of Jordan Belfort, this is something that I've found to be really, really important. Okay, you have to find a skill you're good at. Rule number one, find a skill you are good at and then monetize that skill and make money off it, right? So let's take Jordan Belfort, for example. He is very, very good at selling, and not only just selling, is closing the deal in a sale, right? So he found a way to make money by closing the deal, and he was so good at it, he convinced people, in if you watch the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, right? He convinced people to essentially buy nothing. He sold people companies that were like literally nothing, and he convinced people to put thousands of dollars in this, and he was so good at selling, he convinced people to literally buy nothing. Okay, whatever, you put him in jail, he's got no money. He took the skill he's good at, selling, and not only that, teaching people to sell, right? And he now monetizes teaching people to sell, and sold a book on it, and makes online courses and is a millionaire again because he took a skill and monetized it, right? So first rule, find a skill you're good at and monetize it. Second takeaway from this book, right? Every single sale is the same. And you're saying, oh, no, you got fitness and you got real estate, you got stocks, it's all different. No, in the aspect of every single time you're selling something, whether it be a high school athlete selling to a college coach or a real estate broker in the Wolf of Wall Street trying to get clients to buy into the stock so you can profit from it, right? Every sale is the same. You have a customer and you have you, the seller. You have a buyer and a seller, and you have a yes. So essentially what he talks about is it's a straight line. You imagine a straight line. Let me draw that straight line out for you, right? Here is the straight line. So you have at the start, right? Hello, my name is whatever, so-and-so. You give your pitch, which we'll talk about later, right? And you move your customer down the straight line by giving them, things about your product. Is the 3 10s. We're going to talk about all that, right? But essentially in the straight line, you move your customer down the straight line and you get a yes. The whole point is no or maybe to yes. You don't turn no's into yeses, you turn maybes into yeses. So the whole point of the straight line system is you treat each sale as a straight line. You have a customer, get him to the yes as fast as possible, and don't get off the straight line. We'll talk about objections, other things like that. Do not get them off the straight line, right? You have to keep them on the path, inch them down the path to a yes. If this takes an hour, this takes a week of talking back and forth. You get them down this path to a yes. That's the only goal in mind. You're a seller, you're an entrepreneur, you're whatever you are trying to sell something. Get them to say yes every single time. It's yes, yes, yes. That's your goal. Get the sale, right? So that is the second thing that I've learned from this book. Third thing that I have learned from The Way of the Wolf, right? You have to find buyers, right? So the whole point of whatever field you may be in, for me, I'm a football player, so I had to find buyers. I had to find college coaches, number one, who are interested, and number two, I want to play there. I have to find people who fit my category of who I want to sell to, right? So you have to find your buyers, and secondly, you don't turn a no into a yes. You don't take someone who doesn't want anything to do with you and try to convince them that you're worthy. Number one, that's pointless, and number two, it's a waste of your time when you could be taking people who maybe want you into yes. Is a lot. Number one, it's quicker, and number two, it's not a waste of time. Let's put it that way, right? So don't turn a no into a yes, turn a maybe into a yes, and get around things, objections, right? So, and essentially what an objection is a reason for somebody not to buy your product. And when you're on the straight line, you give an objection, you're moving down the straight line, boom, objection, you're hit with this is why I don't trust you, right? So you get past that objection and you keep on moving. So that's the second thing you have to do is find buyers. So the fourth thing that I picked up from this was I learned, what all factors go into a sale, what does a sale consist of, and what do you need to do in that sale to help get your ultimate goal, which is getting buys, products, whatever you're selling, right? There's certainty in a sale. There's the buyer's level of emotional and logical certainty. And those kind of go as the name, precedes, right? You have emotional certainty. How certain is a person emotionally that they trust you, your company, and what you have to sell? And logically, how does it fit into their life? How does it fit into their friend's life? How can they use your product to help them? They think logically, right? How can your product or whatever you need to do, myself as a football player, how can I convey to a college football coach that, number one, emotionally, I'm not going to cause them stress or doubt, or I'm not going to, go and get arrested and cause them to be mad. And logically, right, they have to think, okay, can he even help my program? Can he help my team win? What can he do logically to give me a benefit? Because people, when you're trying to give them something, they're not thinking, how can I help you? Because they just give you money. You might as well just start a GoFundMe and ask for money if that's really, if those people know you want money, but they think, what do you have that I can exchange for money that gives me something that I can find useful, right? Two parts actually in elements of a sale. So you have your certainty, right? Your emotional and logical certainty, and you have your 3 tenths. Now, when you're talking about the elements of a sale, we're talking about the straight line system. What are the things in the straight line system that get people from maybe, or I don't know, to yes, right? We have emotional and logical certainty, and then we have what Jordan Belfort calls the 3 tenths. So the 3 tenths of every single sale, whatever your product is, are the buyer must love your product. The buyer needs to think that your product is absolutely out of this world. You need to take them down a straight line system of 1 being, I absolutely hate this product. I wish you would just burn it and discontinue selling it. That's how bad it is. To 10 being, I am enthusiastic about this product. I want to buy your product. And the way you could even imagine these 3 10s is to treat all 3 of the 3 10s as a straight line system. So I'm explaining the other 2, and then I'm going to explain how all kind of are straight line systems, right? So the second thing, the buyer must trust your company. Whatever company you're in, if you're an entrepreneur, let's use entrepreneurs as an example. Stratton Oakmont, let's take them for example. People had to believe in Stratton Oakmont's credibility, or else, they just have some salesmen. They trust a salesman, but if your company is, known for being sleazy and doing bad business deals, why would they want to buy from you? So you have to trust you, your company, and they also have to have trust in your product, right? They have to have trust in your product, they have to have trust in your company, and they have to have trust in you. You have to convince them of trust in all these 3 things, right? And let's use all 3 as a straight line. So say 1 being at the top and 10 being at the end. You have to convince these people that, number 1, they trust you, your company, and your product. You have to get them as close to 10 as you can possibly get them. This is what he teaches in this book. I definitely recommend reading the book, but for just anybody who wants quick little information, let me show you, right? So you have 1 to 10, you, your product, your company, and you have to inch them down, each one of these, as far as possible when you're talking about them. We're going to talk about how you're going to do that, later in the video. But for right now, the elements of a sale, you have your certainty, emotional, logical, and your 3 10s, and you have to move them down this as fast as possible. 5th thing that I learned in The Way of the Wolf. Okay, your first impression is a lot. In any situation in life, the first impression, the first time you meet somebody, the first time you shake a coach's hand in my situation, anytime you meet a girl, whoever it is, for the first time that you meet somebody, they will remember it. They're going to remember that they did a study, and it says that it takes 7 more times hanging out with someone or meeting someone before you can fix a bad first impression. So let's talk about what a first impression entails in the concept of a business deal, or you have a product and you're trying to sell it. When you make that first impression, what needs to go into that for that to be a positive and good first impression for you, because it might be the only one you get. Okay, how you look. How you look has an absolute, factor on what you do. So in the book, for example, if you're a businessman, you're trying to sell a product for real estate, such as an example, you got to wear a suit, right? People view suits as professional. It's just the way our culture is, especially in America, where I live. That's the way people view. If you wear a suit, you're known as professional, and people respect you because you're looked at a status symbol. Your presentation of yourself has to be adequate for whatever you're trying to sell, right? You need to leave a positive impact, right? So the three key things that what Jordan Belfort said in the book is that the three things that are the biggest parts of your first impression: how you look. You have to come off as sharp as a tack, right? In both what you say and how you look, you have to come off to that person in the first 4 seconds of your interaction. You have to come off that you're sharp as a tack, you're enthusiastic and expert in your field. A suit could help come out you're an expert in your field, like real estate, for example. Now, let's take a bodybuilder, for example. He's trying to sell you his gym, right? So he's humongous, huge bodybuilder, huge muscles. He looks an expert in the field, right? But when he talks, he's got to be sharp. He's got to know his stuff. He's got to know what he's talking about, and he has to convince you that he is credible, and this is why you should, come to my gym, okay? And then lastly, you have to be enthusiastic. And this is where it comes in. You got to take something you're good at and monetize it. You have to be passionate about whatever you're doing. And even if you're not passionate, get passionate about it, because you're making money. What you say and what you do affects your life directly. So fake it till you make it, or actually be enthusiastic about what you're trying to sell, right? So first impressions, right? How you look, how you present yourself is humongous in a deal, business decision. Sharp as a tack, enthusiastic, expert in the field. Get after it. Fifth thing. Okay, the sixth thing that I learned in a business deal from The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort is the words you say. So the words you say are very, very important in any type of deal. You can't just come out and speak gibberish. Words are how humans communicate, so they are very, very important in the type of words you use, and not only that, but how you say them, which is the next thing, is important in a sale. So your words are used to influence others, and they're also used to build rapport. And rapport or rapport, whatever you say it, right, is the level of trust. The certainty comes in, the 3 10s, and you're saying things to help to get that customer to trust you. Whatever it is, if I'm talking to a college coach, I'm saying things like, I'm a hard worker, I have good grades. I'm not lying to him, but I'm saying things that make him trust me as a buyer and make him trust in the company, which, is myself still, that I can help him provide for his football team, right? So you have to say things, you have to build their emotional and logical certainty, and you have to get them down that path of the 3 10s in a straight line by building rapport with them, right? And don't just say things to help people, like you. Some people get confused in this, and it talks about in the book. He was trying to teach people how to sell, and he talked about building rapport with people. And it's like he had people talking about fishing in a stock exchange still. Like that doesn't happen. You have to talk about things that make him believe in you, your product, your company, and build trust with him at the same time. You're not talking with him as a buddy. It's not your buddy. He's a client. You want him to buy. That's what you have to do. You have to sell to him, right? So your words matter a lot in what you do, and every single word that comes out of your mouth needs to be influential and needs to matter in the sale. 6 things, words. What you say matters. Say it and mean it. 7th thing that I learned in The Way of the Wolf is your body language. So on top of what you say, not only how you say it, it is how your body moves, right? So, going off what you say, it's how you say it. I'm going to include it in part 6. Your tonality is really, really key in what you say, because, if you say, for example, right, hi, I'm Mark. I own a gym. I've been doing it for 10 years. I want you to buy a membership at my gym. I'm saying words and I'm conveying, the meaning of what I want you to do, but it does not do anything for the rapport that we're building together. It doesn't do anything for me or you. It just tells you, it's really mundane, and I guarantee you someone's immediately turned off if you say that and you're trying to convince, if Mark's trying to convince them of a gym, he is not making that deal at all, right? So let's do it a different way. Hello, I'm Mark, right? So you already look good. You want to say hello, and you want to use, you want to talk to the buyer in a way that's really convincing. Secondly, you're going to say, hello, I'm Mark. You're going to shake him in the hand, look that person in the eye, and the way you're going to shake your hand in both your body language, your action, and your tonality, and the way you said it is going to convince that guy that you are credible and he should buy membership at your gym. But what you're going to say, you're not going to say, oh, I want you to buy. Say, hello, I'm Mark. I'm a fitness entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in my field, and I want you to be a part of something special. Okay, right? You see the difference in what I'm saying? So it was basically essentially the same thing, said the same thing, but it was the way he said it, right? It was the way in which he made you believe, right? He made you believe that he is an expert in his field. He's sharp as a tack. He knows exactly what he's doing. Got, a decade of experience, right? And, not only that, you can trust his company, right? He's got a decade of experience. You're sharp as a tack, and he's enthusiastic as hell, right? So he's got those three things down. And it wasn't what he said. It was how he said it. Because like I said, say that. Hello, I'm Mark. I've been owning a gym for about 10 years, and I really want you to be a part of my gym. No, it's, hi, I'm Mark. I have been in the fitness industry as an entrepreneur for over a decade, and I want you to be a part of something really, really special. Okay, it's how you say the things. So it's not only what you say, it's how you say what you need to say. Is body language, right? So body language is the words of your body. So what comes out of your mouth and how you say what comes out of your mouth is really important, but how you express your body is really important as well. Like I'm talking with my hands. If I just sit there, okay, use the same example. Hello, I'm Mark. I'm a fitness entrepreneur, and I've been in this field, and I want you to be a part of something special. Right? I'm saying that, but my arms are crossed, and I'm sitting like this, and I don't come off as, I come off as not enthusiastic, but I come off as, I don't even really want to talk to you, right? So when I open up and say, hello, I'm Mark. I've been in the fitness industry for 10 years, and I want you to be part of something special. Right? So it's my body language and the way I present myself, and I lean in close when I say it, and it's the way I say the words that come out of my mouth, and it means more when I say it. So it's not only what you say and how you say it, but how you interact. You express your emotion, and this can also be used when you're listening to a buyer. So let's take Jordan Belfort, for example. If you're face-to-face, selling something to a person, and they're expressing to you an objection of why they don't want to buy your product, you listen. Active listening is something huge, right? So when they talk, you listen with your body. You don't talk while they're talking because it's interrupting and it's rude, right? But you talk with your body and express emotion to them and express words with your body to them that let them know, I'm interested, I'm engaged, and I really, really care what you have to say. And it's not like pretending. If you want to sell, you really care what the customer has to say because you need to sell to them and you care how they feel about your product, you and your company, right? So active listening. You nod your head, say, oh, yeah, like I get it, right? Eye contact. You look them in the eye. They just study. In the book talks about 72%. You have to look in the person in the eyes 72% of the time when you talk to them, or else they don't want to trust you. If you talk to someone and they they're over here and they have bad body language and look at the ground, they don't come off to you like they're interested in what you have to say. So you look them in the eyes, you nod your head when they're talking, make them know that you're listening, and you express your emotion to them. So maybe they say something like, oh, I've had a bad experience with the gym because I hurt my back. It's like, oh, like really? Like, yeah. You express your emotion to the reader. You say and do things that make the buyer or the customer understand and know that you really, really care for them and you really, really have, a deep personal connection with them about their experiences and the emotions they've had with not only things related to your field or just experiences in their life. You make them understand and feel cared for as a customer, because that's customer service and that's how you do good business. You listen to what they say, and when you talk, you mean what you say and you say it right, and you use your body language to help them understand that you're listening and that you care about them, right? So 7th thing, body language, say it right, have good body language while they're talking. Okay, the 8th thing that I've found in The Way of the Wolf, really, really important, right? Know your stuff. As any person in any field, if you don't know what you're talking about, you can't make a sale. All that other stuff is stuff you can control. Now we're getting into stuff that you can't just fix automatically by listening to this video and understanding or reading the book, whatever you're doing. This is stuff that the book can't teach you, I can't teach you. Nobody on YouTube that's giving you instructions on the way to sell can make you understand your product, right? What you're selling, you have to not only look like an expert in your field and talk like you're, enthusiastic about what you're selling, you have to understand a deep meaning with whatever you're trying to sell. If you're a real estate broker, you have to know everything there is to know about houses, right? If I'm trying to sell myself, I'm an expert in the field of myself. I'm trying to sell myself to a college coach. I'm an expert in the field of myself. So I know everything there is about myself. If anybody has any questions, any objection, right? A college coach says, "Oh man, I don't really know you, and I don't really know like what your work ethic is." Well, I'll say, "Well, sir, I can attest to you that I am the hardest worker there ever was, there ever will be, and my colleagues can attest to that. Anybody that's ever met me can attest to you that I'm the hardest worker you will ever meet, and I will give you 100% of anything you ask for any given day, any given moment of any second of any year, any time. I'm the hardest worker, and I can bet on that. I'm going to bet on myself, and I'll promise you, you will not regret it if you take me as an athlete." You see what I'm saying? I know about myself, and I can confidently say that with enthusiastic and as an expert in my field, because I know myself, right? And I convey that to him. He better take me, right? Because I'm going to help him out, right? So you have to know your stuff, believe in your cause, and just sell it, right? You have to know your cause, believe in it, and then use the knowledge that you've gained and sell, get a yes. 8th thing, know your stuff. Number 9. Objections. In any sale, if it's a maybe or I don't know, there's going to be reasons, okay, why they don't know. Because if they were not an I don't know, they'd be a yes and they were already bought it. You don't have to convince them at all. They would have just came, boom, sign up for. So let's take, okay, a gym, for example, right? If they didn't know, if they knew already what they wanted, they would have came to your gym and signed up and got a membership. You don't need to convince them. So, but in any logical sale, a person's not immediately just going to buy stuff, or else, you run really good business and you market really well, right? But even in that marketing, you have to convince people that they want your product. At some point in time, there's somebody who doesn't know your product, and when they come into interaction with you or somebody from your company, or they see a billboard or something, there is something in that product, right, that you have to convince them that they need. It can fill a void in their life that will help them in some way. So an objection, right? Any reason not to buy. It can be one of the 3 10s, right? So let's say you have your 3 lines, right? So let's take the 3 10s. Sorry, it's backwards, but you have you, your company, and your product, right? So if you give them absolutely no reason, logically, right, in any part of your product or scheme where they shouldn't want to say, yes, I want to buy this. This is the best thing ever, right? You did not do enough in one of these 3 categories. Their emotional level of certainty was not high enough from 1 to 10 to be able to say, yes, I believe in your product. Either it was you, your company, or your product. Because if you know, right, you're expert in your field, you know and you believe in your cause. You don't just do this for fun, and you're not getting forced to do this. If there's nothing else left in your pitch, your initial pitch, this is why you have to do this, they either don't trust you, your company, or your product, and you have to keep getting them down that line. Oh yeah, I don't know, maybe your product has this and that. Well, you're an expert in your field, so you better figure out how you can take that issue and solve it quick, because you don't have time to sit there and talk about other stuff. You have that is where they come off the straight line, right? So if you have, boom, you're moving down the straight line, objection, they're off the straight line now. You have to get them back on that straight line and moving them closer to that. Do you want to buy this? Yes, I want to buy it. You have convinced me that your product's amazing. I trust you, and I trust your company, right? So you have to, every objection, every reason that they have, you come back. No, that is not right. This is why I'm the company for you. This is why I'm the gym for you. This is why I'm the guy for you, right? So you give them no excuse not to buy. No X. That's my whole brand that I'm trying to build. No X. No excuse. You don't give them a reason not to believe in you, not to trust you, not to trust your company or your product. You get the yes. No excuse. Okay, so last but absolutely not least, boom, number 10 in things that I picked up. You have to have a plan. In the book, Belfort, in his, example of what he did, when you're selling on the phone, you have a phone right here, he used what's called a script. So he had a list of, we talked about earlier. Hi, I'm Mark, I own a gym. We took that and we tweaked it a little bit. And we made that into like, it wasn't perfect, but we took that into a really, really good, amazing way. How I can introduce myself every single time to present myself as sharp as a tack, an expert in my field, and enthusiastic as hell, right? So when you're selling, think of things that you bring up or mention that every single time you need to convince someone of your product or whatever it is you're selling, think of a way to introduce yourself to absolutely convince them that your product is the best. So you might do this by having an entire list of every single objection that everyone's ever given you, and you have them looking in front of you while you're on the phone, right? Where you're talking to somebody. Well, oh, my wife, I need to talk to my wife about it. Okay, boom, right there. I've came across this before. This is exactly what I need to say to convince this guy that he doesn't need to talk to his wife and that he can buy right now, because that's how good my company is and that's how good I am and that's how much I'm going to help this guy. You have to convince them, right, that they need your product. You have to have a plan of some sort of how you're going to interact with somebody. As business itself, you have to have a plan, in whatever you do. No successful business is an accident. There's a plan, a very meticulous and cut out plan for success. The same goes for you. You have a plan, an ultimate plan, right? The best plan. You follow that plan. You follow the plan down the straight line, right? And at the end is success. And every single part of that straight line along your journey is little straight lines of yes, 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 yes. Moving down the straight line, and you keep doing it. And you have a plan, straight line, success. Every part of every company is selling. You have to have a plan of how to sell what it is, right? So you have to have a plan for your success. Number 10, have a plan, stick to it. Awesome, you made it to the end of the video. Hopefully you're still watching at this point. That was my 10 things that Jordan Belfort in that book, and just over things I've seen over him in the movie, whatever, that I have learned from him and the book in itself of how to sell in anything you do. Whether you sell yourself, your company, a product, whatever it is, those are 10 key attributes of selling that every single person will have to use at some point in their life. I guarantee it, there's not a single person on planet Earth throughout their entire life that will not have to sell something, convince somebody of something, or persuade anybody to do anything. You live under a rock, and you will for the rest of your life if you never had to do any of those things. Those are the 10 key things to success, and I'm so glad for you watching this video. Please stay tuned. Click down below, subscribe to the channel. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers. This is my first, real video, but subscribe to me. I'm building a brand. I'm building something that I really, really want to last, and I promise you, you subscribe to this channel, you will gain a lot. What's the worst that can happen? You hit the subscribe button, and not only you didn't learn something here today, maybe you knew everything, right? But you subscribe to me, I guarantee you in the future you will learn something of value to help you. So what does it take? Scroll down, click it. Click the button and subscribe and better your life. Learn something new. Put your ego past you. One click's not going to do anything. Subscribe right here and learn. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next video.